Roll, please.
Kathy Griffith. Jason Blair. Melissa Hunt.
Here.
Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Would you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2 is our consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held September 5th, 2023. Receive the minutes of the regular Parks Board meeting held August 1st, 2023. Approve contracts with Aging Services, Bethesda, More Youth and Family, Mary Abbott Children's House, St. Vincent de Paul, Metropolitan Fair Housing, Rose Rock Habitat for Humanity, and the Virtue Center for using Community Development Block Grant, CDBG funds, and CDBG COVID-19 funds. Item D is accept a 301 square foot of temporary construction easement from the Central Church of Christ Holding Company for construction of the Eastern Avenue Phase 2 project located on Eastern Avenue from Southeast 4th Street to Northeast 9th Street. And item E is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2023-2024 in the amount of $2,904,456.74.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, consent docket passes. Item number 3 is receive a report from Select Actuarial Services and accept the annual actuarial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023.
Vice Mayor and Council, we have used Select Actuarial Services for 23 years now. They've always done an excellent job for us. We use this report to evaluate risk in regards to workers' compensation, health insurance, and general liability. And this evening, we have Betsy Southworth is here to explain this report to us. Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Like Brian mentioned, my name is Betsy Southworth. I'm a consulting actuary at Select Actuarial Services. We're based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and we have worked with the city for over 20 years now, doing this annual analysis of your workers' compensation, health benefits, and liability exposures. So I have a presentation everyone has a copy of, and I will kind of guide us through over here. Really, the goal tonight is just to go over kind of a high level the results of our annual analysis that we've done for you guys. Feel free to ask if any questions. Feel free to interrupt. So there's 2 main purposes to the study or objectives that we do each year. One of those is what we call a reserve analysis. So the goal of that is to estimate what the city's outstanding losses will be for any accidents or claims that have happened up through June 30th of this year. So that's really a looking back number, anything that's happened through the end of the last fiscal year, what is still left to be paid on those claims. And then the other big thing we do is what we call a loss forecast, and that's projecting or estimating what the cost will be for any accidents that happen in the next 2 fiscal years. So looking at anything that actually happens between July 1st of 2023 through June 30th of 24, and then also for the 24-25 period. And that's to help you with some budgeting numbers. Okay, so jumping right in, these are the results of the reserve analysis. So in total, we're saying the outstanding losses or what the city has left to pay on any claims that happened through June 30th of this year is just over $2 million in total. This graph is showing how that's broken up between the 3 pieces of the study that we look at. So you've got your health benefits is around $670,000 left to be paid. Workers' compensation is about $1.1 million, and then your liability is $280,000. You'll see the workers' compensation is that blue piece is the biggest piece of that pie, and that's not unusual. We just know workers' compensation claims take longer to finally be fully paid and close out than these other lines of business are going to you're going to make payments and close claims out a lot faster. So that's why the workers' compensation is taking up about half of the pie. And then there's a little green sliver here, that's for a structured settlement from an old tort claim where you have an agreement to, you're just paying $5,000 every 3 years, and that'll slowly dwindle away to nothing and close. Okay, this next slide, this is just a comparison of what the outstanding losses were when we did this study a year ago. That's what that first column is. So as of June 30th, 2022, in total, we estimated the reserves at about $2.15 million. And then that second column is showing what we've estimated this year. So after an additional year of loss experience, you can see overall the reserve number is pretty stable compared to where we were last year. In total, it's $2,070,000. If you look by each of those lines of business that we look at, the pieces separately, you can see health benefits has actually is a bit lower than where we were last year. For workers' compensation and liability, those numbers are pretty flat with where we were last year. And then that open tort claim, again, you made a payment in 2022, so the next one would be in 2025. So that's why there's no change to that number. Okay, then I mentioned at the beginning, the other big piece of the study we look at is what we call a forecast analysis. So for this, we're projecting what the total cost or ultimate costs for all claims that happen in the current fiscal year will be. You're not going to necessarily pay all of these in this current 12-month period, but it's once all the claims are closed and paid, what the ultimate or total cost will be. So for all pieces combined, we're estimating that at just over $7 million in total. You'll see this pie chart looks a bit different than the outstanding loss graph where, that gray part is most of it. That's your health benefits expenses are about $6.4 million in total. And then you've got workers' compensation at $478 and the liability at $120,000. Okay, these next few slides are just going to kind of run us through a comparison of what we estimated last year compared to where we came at this year, and then we'll also look at what we call some loss rates. So this is a comparison. When we did this analysis last year, that first column is showing what we estimated for the ultimate costs for the 23-24 period. That first number there is your estimated monthly employee count. And then we show your monthly cost per employee and then the total forecast. So last year, those numbers that are in blue there, that's what we estimated for the 23-24 period. And you can see that middle column is what we're estimating now with this current study. So you can see the monthly cost for employee has actually gone down. Last year, we estimated that at just under $1,900. And this year we're coming in at $1,742. So that's about a 5% decrease. And the next slide I show you will kind of show why that's come down some. So in total, that's how we're getting that estimate of $6.4 million in total for your health benefits claims over in the current fiscal year. And then that last column is showing what we're projecting forward another year. So that's just based on medical inflation and how you expect to see your number of employees change over the next year. Okay, so this is showing your monthly cost per employee. When we do an analysis, we separate everything by the year that claims happen. So each of these blue bars represents a different fiscal period. And then all of these have been trended forward to 23-24 cost levels. So this is a great graph to really compare what your health benefits claims have been from year to year. And if you had a year that was more expensive or less expensive than another year, really it's been pretty flat here. You can see most of the years in there are coming in between $1,750 to $1,850 for a monthly cost per employee. You can see that 2021 year is kind of sticking up higher than the other years. We can blame that on COVID. And then in the most recent couple of years, you can see 22, 23 actually costs came down quite a bit. And that's, same with 21, 22. That's really feeding into why we're projecting your costs for this current fiscal year to come down from where we were a year ago. Okay, looking at the same kind of comparisons for workers' compensation, again, that first column is showing what we estimated for the 23-24 period when we did last year's analysis. The middle column is what we're currently estimating. So also workers' compensation has been pretty flat or to good experience over the past year. The loss rate has come down, so we look at a cost per $1,000 of payroll for the city. It came down from $1,825 to $1,794. So that's about a 2% decrease, even with additional year of inflation incorporated into those numbers. So experience has been good over the past year. We're estimating a total forecast of about $480,000 we think you'll ultimately spend for workers' compensation claims that happen in this current fiscal year. Okay, we have this same loss rate graph then for workers' compensation claims. So I think what I notice on this right away is these bars jump around a bit more than the health benefits one did, and that's not good or bad, it's just different. You can compare year to year how the workers' compensation experience has been. In the most recent 5 to 6 years, you can kind of see those blue bars kind of vary from about $20 to $21 per $1,000 payroll down to about 15, and that purple bar on the right is what we're projecting, so just under $18 per $1,000 payroll, so we're trying to kind of come in the middle of those most recent 5 or 6 years. For liability, similar results to workers' compensation, where overall things have been stable to better than expected over the past year. Last year, we estimated a cost per $1,000 payroll at $4.65, and that's come down to about $4.52 now as of this current study. So in total, we're estimating the costs for the current year will be about $120,000. And you can see in that last column, just projected forward for another year of trend, and any expected payroll increases is the 24-25 year is just a little bit more than what we're projecting for this year. Okay, and then finally this loss rate graph for liability. Again, all of these years have been trended to 23, 24 cost levels, so adjusted for inflation. I think if you're looking at this graph, that 2014 year is a pretty big bar, and that just there was a big claim that happened in that year, which is really unusual for the city. On average, your average claim size for liability is about $6,000 to $8,000 per claim, and there was a claim that jumped up over $100,000 in that year. But that happened a long time ago. We certainly haven't seen anything like that, since. We're estimating the 23-24 year a cost of $4.52 per $1,000 payroll. So you can see the most recent 4 years or so, those years are all coming in around $4 to $5, so trying to come in kind of in the middle there for what we're projecting. Okay. This slide is just an overall general summary of the numbers I just went over with you, so a good thing to come back and refer to if you just want to get those total amounts on this last page. And then this final slide is really just definitions. If you do read through that full report that everyone got a copy of, and you can refer back to this to see what some of those words mean. There's also a page that goes into more detail on definitions in the report that's included in there, if there's anything you want to go back and review. And any questions for me?
Thank you.
I think I'm good, thank you.
Okay, if you think of anything, feel free to email questions later.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, I believe we just need a motion to accept the report.
Make a motion to accept the report.
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith. Yes. Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Thank you. Item 4 is consider an appeal of an administrative order condemning property located at 2873 Woodlawn Drive. Application by Robert Gershon Journey, attorney for homeowners, Ollie and Dwellin Duree.
Vice Mayor and Council, this is a item that was tabled at the last meeting to allow city staff some time to meet with the property owner to come up with a plan of action. And just to let you know that what's taken place since the last meeting, the homeowners have moved out of the house temporarily. They're staying elsewhere while the assessment and repairs are being made to their home. The house is currently empty, so there is able to be an assessment of the damage that the house has. Today we met with the homeowners and their attorney, as well as Triton Foundation Repair that is spearheading the repair of the home. Habitat for Humanity has also been an identified partner in the repair of the home, but they were not present at the meeting. The Triton Foundation Repair has evaluated the foundation problems. They has said that they are willing to install new footings and stem walls as needed, specifically along the southeast and west sides of the home. They do understand that city codes are applicable, and that building codes will be implemented to the fullest extent possible. Due to the age of the home, there are some elements of the code that probably just can't be done. But to the fullest extent possible, we will be applying the city code and building code. They also have agreed to repair the floor joists as needed. Habitat for Humanity will be responsible for all the other repairs to the home. This includes replacing doors and windows, along with the trim and flashing. They will also agree to remove the damaged exterior wall coverings and install vinyl siding. This is where the sheathing and insulation parts of the city code will come into play. They do understand that this is a requirement. The Habitat for Humanity will remove or repair the porches and overhangs as the homeowners elect at the time. They did request for the deadline to be pushed back from mid-December because Habitat for Humanity does rely on volunteer work, and they have other projects that have been scheduled. They requested a deadline in February of next year. That is a couple of months beyond what we had originally thought was acceptable. However, since the homeowners are no longer in the home, we do feel like that is a reasonable timeframe. Now, prior to January, Triton Foundation Repair will be removing the siding on certain walls to determine the extent of damage to the wall system of the house. If they determine that the walls damage or the damage to the wall system is not too much, then this repair plan will fall into place. It is possible, because we don't know the extent of the damage on the interior of the walls, that the damage may be to such an extent that it would not be financially feasible to make these repairs. If that is the case, then we would meet again, city staff and the homeowners, to come up with an additional plan. But as we stand right now, we're assuming that the damage within the interior of the walls is not extensive, since we don't have any evidence of that to this time. So the next meeting date with city staff is scheduled for December 18th. At that time, we're hoping to have a plan for them to remove the exterior of the walls to do their inspection of the framing. Tonight, the only action that we're requesting you to make is to affirm the administrative officer's findings that the house is dilapidated, and you would also be approving the treatment plan as outlined. And again, if there's any major changes to this treatment plan or something with the house is not as expected, we would be updating that as necessary. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I appreciate you working with the homeowners
Yeah.
on this, so.
Yeah.
No problem.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Go ahead.
Yes.
Ask a question real quick.
Sure.
And so I know we've talked about this last time, but what about homeowners insurance? Who's going to be liable if somebody is injured during the process of all this? Does it fall back on the city?
No, that does not fall on the city. This is definitely private property. My understanding is that there is no homeowners insurance. Typically with Habitat for Humanity, the volunteers sign waivers. I would assume that would happen in this case. And then, of course, Triton Foundation Repair is a private company that has their
That
own
would
workers.
be bonded and has their,
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the
Thank you.
homeowners are going to stay out of the home until it's,
that is correct. That was established at the meeting today. Yes.
Good.
all right. And I think Councilman Webb made a motion.
Second.
And we have a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item passes. Item 5 is consider approval of the 2023 City of Moore standards and specifications to be used for infrastructure development within the city.
Vice Mayor and Council, this was also another item that was tabled from September the 5th. Since that time, we've met individually with the council members to answer any questions you might have, go over the changes in more detail, and we're bringing this item back for hopefully a decision tonight. Just to give you a very brief summary, part of the big changes that we are requesting is that a geotech report would be required on all developments. The estimated cost for this would be $2,000 to $4,000 per section of development. The recycled asphalt, we're requesting only be allowed as a base material under concrete streets. For asphalt streets, virgin asphalt would only be allowed. And the right-of-way width for arterial streets, we are requesting to be increased to a width of 130 feet. This is, today it is 100 feet, so that would be an increase of 30 feet. However, in some instances, a variance can be granted by council to reduce that to 120 feet if it's deemed appropriate. So just to give you an idea what this means for the developers, going from to 130 feet, they would be granting the city 32 feet total of property along the arterial road of their development to the city for future roadway and utility use. For 120 feet, that number is going to be 27 feet. If you have any questions or would like for me to go over anything in more detail, I'm happy to do that.
I make a motion, we approve the new standards and specifications document.
Second.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Elizabeth.
Item 6, consider approval of payment 3 of 5 in the amount of $41,588.82 on a 5-year TASER 7 bundle purchase from Axon Enterprises for 60 TASER devices.
Vice Mayor, Council, this is a annual payment to Axon Taser, who supplies our TASER 7s. We pay them a yearly fee for update, maintenance, and continued operation of the TASER 7. It's a 5-year total payment plan, but this would be fulfilling this year's payment. Recommend approval.
So at any point in this 5 years, do they replace the defective units, I would assume? Do they replace any of the other?
Absolutely. It's a nonstop, it's a one-stop shop. If we deploy a TASER cartridge, they'll replace that. If we damage a TASER, when the TASER quits working, we just send it in, they send us a new one.
Okay.
At the end of 5 years, it's like with any other technology we struggle with in law enforcement, there's a lot of evolving technology. We'll either continue with the TASER 7 under another similar type contract, or there'll be some new whiz-bang technology out that we evaluate at that time.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second?
We have had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Item 7, consider authorizing the police department to solicit bids for the budgeted purchase of 8 fleet vehicles.
Vice Mayor, Council, this topic is fairly dicey in today's market, but we're asking for approval to be prepared to solicit bids for 8 vehicles that have been budgeted this year. However, the market is very volatile. We're not exactly sure when we will be able to go out for bid exactly, but we know that the timeline will be very tight, and it's very much a moving target right now with the automotive industry. It might be even sometime after January, anticipate the spring, and we would have to order 2025s. 2024s, we're being told, are not or may not be available. And so we're trying to get ahead of the game and be able to strike whenever the opportunity presents itself so that we can go out to bid and get the best product for the community. but also have the flexibility to work within this volatile market.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, we've had a motion and a second. Call the vote?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Thank you. Item 8, consider approval of a budgeted purchase for the furnishings for the Moore Police Advancement Center in the amount of $98,220.25 to Bill Warren Office Products as the lowest quote.
Vice Mayor, Council, the more exciting times. Police Department's very grateful for the opportunity to have the Impact Center, the Moore Police Advancement Center coming online. This is just another step. This would be purchasing of furnishing, chairs, training tables, desks, those types of items to go inside the Impact Center, the Police Advancement Center. We're estimating an 8 to 9 week lead time on this, so we feel it important to order it now, understanding that we'll have to wait on the furniture before we could actually occupy the space.
What's your targeted go live date on this?
That's a great question, sir. We got permit today. So full permitting was done today. There was a lot of city staff behind me that worked a lot to help the police department and help the developer to get that permit, but we did officially get that permit today. I would tell you that talking with the developer and his crews, I would say that they will be completed 6 to 8 weeks from now.
Okay.
So looking at 6 to 8 weeks, depending on when the furniture and other items come in as well. Furniture, what we're hearing from the vendor in this particular line item is it's like any other thing post-COVID. There is a long wait time to receive it in. But fingers crossed, lots of construction ahead of us, 6 to 8 weeks,
Okay.
hopefully sooner.
And just as a quick reminder, can you tell us the purpose of this and what you intend to use the space for?
Absolutely. As you see in the agenda item, it's the Moore Police Department Advancement Center, and we take that to an acronym we call IMPACT, because that particular area of our community is an area that we want to be strategically reaching out to and engaging with. There's 3 schools over there, Highland West, Kelly, and Houchin. Those are schools that have a lot of challenges that they face, both from an educational standpoint and just a socioeconomic standpoint. And so we see those as great opportunities for us to make an impact on those members of those kids in that particular area. We'll do a lot of training out of that facility. That will be a full scale training area with everything from force-on-force areas so that we can do scenario-based training, but also classroom training. We can host community forums there, community events, homeowner association meetings, any other type of community event that may be, or a community component in that area that would need space to meet for some reason. We will share space and training with our partners in the city, most specifically the fire department. If they're wanting to host a class, we can bring in trainers to train, so we can bring in class. Vice Mayor, I think you understand how that concepts work. We'll bring in a national industry leader to teach, and we can bring in officers from across the state to receive training there. But I think what we're most excited about with this opportunity is it's going to be a point, kind of, we hope to be a pivot point in that part of the community, where that part of the community knows that they can go and get whatever service they need, not just police service, but just general social service as well. So we hope to use this as a stepping off point for a lot of community partners and a lot of industry partners to really touch and make an impact on not only in that part of our community, but the whole city of Moore. So we're pretty excited about this.
Cool. Yeah, I would echo your excitement, and I think it's just Moore is a great community, and there's a place for everybody to live here, so I'm glad to see us expanding a lot of our city services with the physical structure in different parts of our city. So that's great.
Yes, yes, sir.
Make a motion that we approve.
Second?
All right, we've had a motion and a second. And would you call the vote?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Thanks again. Number 9 is consider adopting resolution number 5923, authorizing the city of Moore to submit an application to the Association of Central Oklahoma Governments, ACOG, for the Air Quality Small Grant Program, Capital Planning and Resiliency.
Vice Mayor and Council, this resolution is authorizing the city to submit an application to the ACOG Air Quality Small Grant Program for a 10-foot wide multi-use trail along Bryant Avenue from northeast 12th to approximately southeast 4th Street. The grant does have a requirement of a 20% match. The total cost of the trail is estimated to be $1,169,000, making the city's match contribution $233,800. Staff recommends approval of this resolution.
Would this be a 23-24 item or a 24-25 item?
They are hoping to make the award in November,
Okay.
and notice to proceed, I think, would probably be December, January.
Okay.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right. Would you call the vote, please?
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Item 10 is consider approval of a sports association agreement for the 2023-24 table tennis program at the Moore Community Center, Parks and Recreation.
Vice Mayor and Council, this agreement is with the Essential Table Tennis Nonprofit Organization, and it's being held at the Community Center on Saturdays and Sundays in the afternoon from about 12 to 4. It got so large, they actually opened another facility in Oklahoma City, so it's really being a very positive program for our facility, our community center, so I recommend approval.
Make a,
Go ahead.
make a motion to approve?
Second.
We have had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Item 11 is consider approval of transferring the amount of $1.5 million into the general fund reserve fund.
Vice Mayor and Council, in 2019, the City Council approved Ordinance 92319 to establish the General Fund Reserve Fund for the city. After a fiscal year's close, staff is to review and recommend an amount to transfer based on excess revenues over expenditures. 2023 was a good year. Our collections were more than anticipated, and we're in a position we feel confident recommending a transfer of $1.5 million this year into the General Fund Reserve.
What will that bring our reserve fund to?
It's currently at 3.0.
Okay.
So that'll bring it up to 1.5. I think we put in 1.4 last year, $1 million the year before that, 400, 200.
This makes me very happy. I make a motion we approve.
Second.
We have had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Item 12, consider adopting resolution number 6023, approving the purchase of certain real property located at 2001 North Moore Avenue, approving the final purchase of said real property and directing city manager designee to execute necessary documents.
Vice Mayor and Council, items 12, 14, and 15 are all companion items on the agenda. This is the old Sun State building that we're looking at to purchase to move our street division in there. The building's in good shape and fits our needs, and then gives us extra additional land that we can utilize. The purchase of this building would save money versus construction of an additional building on our current Public Works facility property. We have been through the building and inspected that, and we feel like we're in a good position to close. We recommend approval.
So does this impact the other project at the Public Works facility at all?
Well, we were slated for construction of another building on the Public Works facility, and we won't have to do that now.
Okay. So will we use that money to do this, or we're just buying this outright? Just help me on, because that was bond funds, correct?
No, that was sales tax.
Okay.
That was quarter
Okay.
cent sales
All right.
tax.
Very
But this building we'll purchase outright.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
We have had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, Item passes. Then we had an addendum to the agenda. It's item 12.1. Consider authorizing the city manager to execute a letter of intent to pursue a grant from the Oklahoma Opioid Abatement Board.
Vice Mayor and Council, the Oklahoma Opioid Abatement Board, that's a mouthful. They're making $23 million of the state settlement monies available for grants to various political subdivisions, but they are requiring a letter of intent in advance authorized by the governing body to allow the city manager to actually put in and give them an intent to apply for that grant. That's what this item is. It allows us to tell them that we wish to pursue a grant in the future once that money is available. Recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. This time, we'll recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 13 is our consent docket. Receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held September 5th, 2023. Ratify and accept the annual actuarial report for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023, and approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2023-24 in the amount of $578,145.81.
Motion to approve?
Second?
We've had a motion and a second. Would call the vote?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. Item 14 is consider authorizing the purchase of property located at 2001 North Moore Avenue in the amount of $875,000.
Vice Mayor and Council, the companion item to number 12.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. Item 15 is consider approval of a payment to Price Edwards and Company LLC in the amount of $26,250 for commission of sale of property located at 2001 North Moore Avenue.
Vice Mayor and Council, this is our share of the commission on the purchase. Recommend approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item carries. This time, we'll recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 16 will be the consent docket. Receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held September 5th, 2023. Item B is ratify and accept the annual actuarial report for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023, and approve and ratify claims and expenditures for fiscal year 2023-24 in the amount of $271,923.90.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We've had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, item passes. Now we'll recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and convene the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting.
Can you call the roll, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Here.
Jason Blair, Glenn Lewis, Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb,
Here.
Mark Ham,
Here?
Melissa Hunt.
Here. Item 18A is the consent doc. Receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Economic Development Authority meeting held August 21st, 2023.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Call the vote, please.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes. We'll now recess the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting and reconvene the city council meeting.
Okay, and just let the record reflect that all members are still present. Item number 19 is new business. Nobody has signed up. Is there anybody here tonight that would like to speak about something? Okay. Item B is items from the city council trustees.
So I'd just like to say that I appreciate all the work that Elizabeth and her staff put in on this demolition thing so that we could settle this in hopefully a peaceful manner. So.
Yeah.
And item C will be items from the city trust manager.
One thing, Vice Mayor and Council, with the transfer of the $1.5 million to the reserve account tonight, we're now 37.5% to our goal. So we're making progress.
Awesome.
Very good. And item 20 is adjournment.
So moved.
Second. We've had a motion and a second. Just call the vote.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.